He looked me dead in the eye and said it without hesitation. "You're filthy." My father didn't flinch. His voice carried across the dinner table like a whip, slicing through the quiet. Everyone went still, forks in midair, conversations cut off. My hands trembled, but he didn't notice. Or maybe he did, and just didn't care. "This career of yours," he continued louder now. "It's a disgrace to this family." After nearly 3 decades of biting my tongue, suppressing everything I'd ever wanted to say, I finally breathed out. I stood up, tucked in my chair, stared back at him, and said, "You're right. I don't belong here." Then I turned and left. No shouting. No chaos. Just a calm, final silence. I walked out of that house and in many ways, out of their lives. They never truly saw me for who I was. Not when I was 12 and building apps in my bedroom. Not when I started building things they couldn't understand. To them, working in tech meant I was playing games, wasting time. My father wanted polished shoes, white coats, briefcases, things he could explain proudly at a dinner party. He never once told me he was proud, not even after I sold my 3rd company. I made more in 1 deal than he earned in 2 decades. He just stared at me like the success was somehow dirty, like I had cheated life and soiled the family name. Still, I kept showing up. Holidays, birthdays, gatherings. I kept making an effort. Until the day I heard, through a cousin's social media post, that my sister had cancer. Stage 4. Liver. Rapid and unforgiving. No one had called me. Not even my mother. I showed up anyway. Walked into the house like a stranger. My mother gave me a stiff nod. My father ignored me. But Anna, she smiled from her bed, weak but warm. We hadn't spoken in years, not because we didn't care, but because I had been pushed to the margins of the family. Yet she reached for my hand. I stayed with her. I told her I'd help. She cried, and I meant every word I said. 6 weeks later, the family called a meeting. Same house. Same cold air. They presented the treatment plan like a business deal. International care, clinical trials, flights, accommodations. The cost, $100,000. Every head turned toward me. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone looked at me like a walking ATM. Then my father cleared his throat and said, "You owe your sister this much." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, "I'll think about it." That was when he snapped. He called me filthy again. A mistake. Said I'd brought shame to his name. So I walked out. But this time I didn't just leave. I started asking questions. The numbers didn't make sense. I'd seen enough medical quotes to know this wasn't a $100,000 plan. More like $40,000 max. So where was the rest of the money going? I began digging quietly. Called a few people. Contacted the hospital. Reached out to someone inside the clinical trial. Then I saw it. An invoice sent to my father's email. It had an added line. Consulting fee, $60,000. Wire transfer to a separate account. That account? It belonged to Brian, my cousin, the guy who always needed a loan, always had an excuse, always 1 gig away from making it. They were using Anna. Exploiting her illness to bleed me dry. But I didn't explode. I got focused. I called Anna. Told her I'd pay for everything, personally, directly through the hospital. No family, no shortcuts. She cried again. This time I told her why. Because you're the only one who's ever wanted my time, not my money. Next, I called Brian. Told him what I'd found. Told him I had receipts, dates, bank records, email threads. Told him the IRS would know next if he didn't fix this. I gave him a week. Then I wrote an email. Subject. Re the family meeting. I attached everything. Fake invoices, screenshots of the conversations between Brian and my father, the whole plan. And I sent it to every relative in our extended family. No explanation. Just the truth. By the time my father called, the message had spread. My phone lit up with relatives texting apologies, shock, denial. I let it all sit. When he finally called, his voice was shaking. He said I misunderstood. Said I was overreacting. "We need you," he said. "Anna needs you." I took a breath. Then I said, "You're right. Anna does. And I'm already there for her. But you? You needed money. And you called me filthy." So now you can let your pride pay your bills. I hung up. Weeks passed. Anna began to recover. She sends me little messages every day now. We talk about movies, childhood, memories we still share. She's getting stronger. As for my father, the truth traveled fast. His friends, his community, even his business contacts, everyone found out. His pride didn't protect him from the fallout. I never raised my voice. I never slammed a door. I never had to. Truth did all the work. And silence? It made them sweat.